Man, it has been a day. It's been a week. It's been a week. We have been working hard on getting a bunch of new stuff set up to turn this into a good home studio. And I mean, you can tell by the sweat, right? We've been moving a bunch of stuff around. Okay, you want to come say hi, Simba? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come. Oh, almost. There you go. Okay, come say hi. Say hi. Simba, say hi. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Simba. Okay, good. And so we've got a bunch of stuff going on, and I just got a shit ton of it delivered today, which also means I have not had time to set it up. And right now, the room is in disarray, would be a kind word for how things are currently looking. However, however, oh, what's up, Manga? Here for 3 minutes. Okay, yeah. And the chaps and get on the beers. Exactly right. Speaking of which, why am I talking about this? Let's do exactly that thing. So I've got my nice intro that I have not yet memorized. Let's do that. Grab your glass, your mug or your flask, a chalice, a stein, or even a cask. Raise it high, let's make a splash. It's time now for our libation batch. Toast the night and enjoy the mood. Together now, we drink some booze. On your mark, let's not wait. It's cheers with chaps, so don't be late. Go. Oh, fantastic. I love this Pilsner Urquell. Okay, so what I was saying, we'll get into the lesson in a minute, don't worry. But what I was saying for you guys is that we have gotten a whole bunch of stuff. We've got, you can kind of see, we have new lighting so that I don't have to deal with the crappy overhead light that makes me look ridiculous. We've got, this one's really fun. Up here, you can see we got a neon sign of our logo, which is pretty cool. We've got a poster coming in. And my favorite part of all, we got this fancy ass recliner with built-in drink holders. Yeah. And so that's where we're going to do the stream today while I still get the rest of the studio set up and figure out the spacing and stuff. Now, let's go ahead and jump into this. That's what you guys are here for, right? I had a call last night with one of my clients, and he presented me with this problem. Jack, I'm stuck in the friend zone. Help. Okay, I got you, buddy. I got you. Couple of things to note before we even get into how to help him and how to get out of the friend zone. The first thing we need to understand is what the friend zone even is. Like, how do you get in there? How do guys end up getting stuck in there? Why is it so common? And basically, the easiest way to imagine this is that whenever you first meet a girl, she's going to put you into one of two buckets. She's either going to put you in the bucket of maybe, yes, this is possible, or nope, never going to happen. The way that girls would describe it to you is like, I can imagine myself kissing him, or I could never imagine myself kissing him. Basically means the same thing as what you're thinking of as well. It's all the same. So if at the beginning she puts you in the bad bucket, there's nothing you can do. There's no getting out of that. There's no changing your way out of that. You cannot escape that version of the friend zone. So if you're just absolutely not going to happen, then there's nothing you can do about it. However, if you're in the maybe bucket, and this is where most guys think they are, whether you are or not, we'll get to that in a minute. I'll tell you exactly how to tell the difference between which bucket you're in. But if you're in the maybe bucket, you can move yourself to the nope bucket by fucking up, by saying the wrong things, or by not saying the right things, or by having shit game, or by showing her a part of you that is not meant for her. This is why knowing the types is so important, so that you know which version of yourself, which aspects of yourself you need to be showing which girl. Now, how do you tell which bucket you're in from the beginning? This is really simple. And most guys don't know this trick. This is the trick none of the coaches want you to know. Here's how you tell whether you're in the maybe bucket or the nope bucket. Shoot your shot. Talk to her. Ask her on a date. And be forward about it. Be honest about it. Don't beat around it and don't say, oh, let's maybe hang out sometime. Let's do something. Oh, let's get coffee. Let's get lunch. No, no, no. You want it to be a date because what you're doing is you're testing, am I in the maybe bucket or am I in the nope bucket? If you're in the nope bucket, then she's going to give you that answer. She's going to say, no, I don't think so. That's not what this is at all. If you're in the maybe bucket, then she might say yes. She might say, you know what, I'll have to think about it. Or maybe we can do it another time where this doesn't work for me. Okay. Then you're in the maybe. Now, if she says yes, then clearly you're in the possibility category, right? You're in the good bucket there. But what's that, Paul? You just telling them that we're live. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. So that's how you tell which bucket you're in. Now, if you're in the maybe bucket, you can get moved into the nope bucket. But if you're in the maybe bucket, and let's say she finds you reasonably attractive, but you guys just haven't ever done anything yet. Nothing's ever happened. The longer you wait on that, the more chances that she moves you into the nope bucket, because girls expect guys to make the move, to actually try to go out with them, to do things with them. And if you're not trying, then she's going to assume that either one, you're gay, or two, you're not interested. And if either of those is the case, then she's going to move on. She has no reason or obligation to stick around waiting for you to work up the courage and finally nut up and talk to her and ask her out. Let me check something. How is the lighting if I do this? Yeah, that's still fine. Okay, good. Because this ring light behind the camera was hurting my eyes, burning my fucking retina. Anyhow, so that's what you need to keep in mind. That as you're having this conversation, as you're having this relationship, and you're trying to get out of the friend zone, you think you're in the friend zone, and you might not even actually be. You might be fine. You might be ready to rock and roll, but you don't know because you've never tested it. Now, that's for where you are at the moment. However, what if you aren't sure what to do? How to avoid the friend zone entirely? Is this? Oh, that's the water. That's fucking wild. Okay. Anyhow, let's talk about actual actions, something you can take, something you can do differently that will make you avoid the friend zone entirely. You need to be direct, you need to be active, and you need to be sexual in nature. Now, I don't mean overtly. I don't mean in a gross way. I'm not talking about being that guy who's, trying to talk about dicks all the time, or is always trying to get a girl to take off your top, show us your tits, right? Something like that. That's not what I mean. I mean, you should have a bit of an aura about you, something flirtatious, something fun, something slightly sexual. You should be making jokes. You should be making innuendos. You should be leading the conversation in a way that is clear to her that you are interested in her as a man and a woman, even if you're just kind of feeling things out. You're not entirely sure what you want yet. You're not entirely sure what you want it to be. That's fine. You're just feeling things out. You're giving it a try. But while you're talking, you are constantly creating that sexual tension, that undercurrent of he's really into me, isn't he? Or is he just this way? But either way, I'm curious. I want to know more. I know for a fact that he does not want to just be friends with me, because no guy would act this way if he just wanted to be friends. So I need to decide, which bucket he's in. And here's the great thing is that as long as you pass the basic bare minimum physical standards for her, whatever that is for her, which I've described it before as basically 3 points lower than she thinks she is where her base bare bones minimum physical standard is. And as long as you pass that, then that doesn't really matter anymore. And she's willing to give you a chance as long as you are making it fun, you're making it appealing, you're making hanging out with you seem like the right decision. It seems like the more fun decision. It's better than her other options and her other alternatives. That is the key. You want to be her best option. And be clear that you are not interested in just being friends, that you want to turn it into something more, or at least that you might. Paul points out, be a mystery. Yeah. Oh, shit. I just missed one. Paul points out, be a mystery. And that is exactly what I'm talking about. Thursday doesn't line up. Enjoying your content. Okay, cool, man. Well, Stephen, that's all good, but I will keep going and you can watch the rest of it later if you'd like. All right. Yeah, so you be a mystery. Kind of. Yes, but also more importantly, it should be clear, it should be obvious to her that you are not interested in friendship, that you're creating a sexual tension, that you're feeling things out and seeing, can she handle me or not? Is she interested or not? Let's find out. But I'm not sure if I'm interested or not. I want to test her out a little bit because that's what you're doing at the beginning of a relationship. You're both kind of testing each other out, seeing, all right, do we match? Do we get along? Are you a good option for me? Do I have better options? I might. And if I do, then I'm going to go to those. And she will too. If she has better options than you, she will go to those as well. Bento, could you please stop with the bottle, buddy? Thank you. So, to avoid the friend zone, you need to never let yourself get there in the first place. This is the most important thing. You should be clear, you should be obvious, you should be shooting your shot and not trying to hide, not trying to couch things in this, well, maybe sometimes something, maybe we can hang out, maybe we can do this. None of that, because that is a guaranteed way to not get what you want. You want to know how to get what you want in life and in relationships, but really this goes for everything. Ask for it. It's really that simple, because what will happen whenever you ask for it, so in this case, you ask her on a date, she's gonna say yes or she's gonna say no. That's it. Those are the only two things that you have to be concerned about. And then you know where you stand. And you've made it very clear so that she knows where you stand as well. So that she isn't sitting there thinking like, he asked me to coffee, but like, is that a date or is it just coffee? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know if he likes me. I don't know. Maybe it's better if we're just friends. We have friends. Friends can get coffee. Friends can get coffee. If you let her mind run around with shit like that, then you can't be surprised when she comes to a conclusion that's not what you wanted. If you want her to reach the same conclusion as you, then you need to lead her there. You need to show her that you aren't interested in being friends, that you aren't interested in just hanging out and getting a coffee or doing something sometime. You don't need to be using any of those words. You don't need to be using that feeling. Instead, be clear, be direct. Hey, I think you're cool. I want to hang out and get to know you a bit more. Let's go out on a date. Let's go grab some drinks on Friday night. Perfect. Easy, simple. And it doesn't have to be some grand romantic gesture. It doesn't have to be anything mind-blowing. You don't have to make up some crazy line. It doesn't have to be the most creative date in the world. Drinks is fine. Netflix and chill is fine. Or if you're feeling a little bit more of a PG mood, do a Disney Plus and chill. I mean, like, whatever. It doesn't matter. But Make it clear. And if she ever says something, this is another way that you can avoid the friend zone, is if she ever says something to the effect of, oh, I'm so glad I have you as a friend, or, oh, we make such good friends, or maybe you can introduce me to a nice guy or something like that, then you have to stop the interaction right there. Stop. Say, wait, listen, I already have enough friends. I'm not interested in being friends. I'm interested in you as a man and a woman. And if I haven't communicated that to you, sorry, that's my bad. But that's where I am. So if that's not what you want, it's fine, no hard feelings, but there's the door. And then send her on her way, because there's no point in wasting your time with somebody who isn't interested in you. If you find yourself in the friend zone with a girl and you want to get out of the friend zone, you want to try and make the impossible leap from friend zone to the relationship zone, first of all, it's not going to work. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to work. And I'm sure that there are some guys out there right now watching this. Like, some of you guys are like, so you're saying there's a chance? Right? You can do that. You can do that. You can try to break out of the friend zone and into the relationship zone, but it's very, very difficult to do. And it's very rare that it works. The reason is because you have to have already been in the maybe bucket from the beginning. And then you, for some reason, got put into the friend bucket, and it hasn't been so long that it's solidified in her mind. uh, it's really, really, really rare that the confluence of circumstances works so that you can break out of the friend zone. However, if you want to try to do that, you do it the same way as you did the other bit, which is you are direct, you are forward, you make it clear. Say, hey, look, I really enjoy hanging out with you, but I don't want to just be friends. I'm interested in you as a woman, and I want to take this up. Let's get some drinks sometime, and let's see if this thing can work out. Maybe it can, maybe it can't, but I want to try and I want to find out. Will you lose the friendship? Yes, but it wasn't a friendship to begin with, because you were basically lying to her about what you felt and how you were, right? So it wasn't really a friendship anyway. You wanted to stick your dick in her, and she wasn't aware of that, and she didn't feel the same way. So that's not a friendship, right? So yeah, you're gonna lose the friendship. You're gonna lose whatever basic bitch relationship you had with her. And I know that for some guys, they're gonna say, "Oh, but I would rather have her around as a friend than not have her around at all." No, no, you wouldn't. No, you would. You are suffering from one-itis. You are suffering from delusion as well. If you think that that's the case, then I'm here to tell you, no, it's not. You can be happier, you can be better, you can start to move on and find other actual good relationships with people who you want to be with, who also want to be with you. And if you're not sure how to do that, how to find those relationships, how to build those relationships, I highly recommend that you go over to realjacknorth.com right now. You can learn about all the different types of women on there. It's totally free. You can sign up for a call with me, completely free, where I will personally guide you and help you create a dating strategy that works for you, to help you find the women who you like and who like you back. So go over to realjacknorth.com right now. Get that, get that signed up, learn about all that stuff. It's all completely free, and it's going to turn around your dating life. Now, with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and bring in our friend Paul. How you doing, Paul? Good. Let's see if I can.
Now you should be able to hear me.
There we go. Yes, now I can hear you. Okay, good.
But yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, good. I think
Thursday
today
afternoon.
today is just going to be me and you.
Okay. We'll figure this out.
We'll figure it out as we always do. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Oh, all right. So, you know what? Let's start by just telling stories about our experiences with the friend zone. You want
Sure.
to go first?
I can go first. I will take a story where I ended up in the friend zone even after hooking up.
Okay, that's
Um, this is
interesting.
this is a couple years before I met you. But
Mhm.
what it ended up with was I went on a couple, like went out with this Latvian girl a couple times, and after a while, like yeah, there was some sparks, and she came home and slept over a couple days, and then she goes, "I think I just want to be friends." And back then, I didn't know jack shit, right? So my response was, "Yeah, that sounds good,"
Yeah.
or "Yeah, okay, not much I can do about that." Like just made some simple, like okay, just accepted the fact, even
Mm.
though she was smoking hot. Like I would have stayed on there if that was possible. But I was just stupid and just accepted it and took the back seat. And, and then she went back to her ex. And
Uh-huh.
then again later, like a year and a half later or something, again, we hooked up again. But the same thing, like, oh, I just want to be friends. Right. So just get infinitely stuck in the friend zone and just, I was like, yeah, fuck this. I'm going to Korea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that was probably one of the, it's the second worst uh, friend zone I've ever been in, I think.
That's a rough one, and that's really tough to fix because most guys would think, well, you either accept it or you say, no, I don't want to do that. But I think that the right move in a situation like that is to reject her frame altogether, because
Yeah.
that's what I would do in that situation. Is I would turn it on its head. I'd be like, "What do you mean be just friends? That is what we are. We're fuck friends. Like this isn't serious. This is fun times. I don't know what you're talking about." And then just like go off and go on about my day and just act like that conversation hadn't happened.
Yeah, exactly. I actually did that a couple years later.
Mm-hmm.
You know this story. It was the first date with my ex,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, "I think we could be really, really good friends." And my instant response was, "Yeah, I have enough friends. We're dating."
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And that's the right frame, and that's the frame that more guys need to have, which is I have friends. There's not currently an opening in my friend roster. However, there is an opening in my bed. So that's the position I'm hiring for. Well, doggy is the position I'm hiring for. But but that works too. No, absolutely. You have to reject the frame entirely of this whole like we're just friends thing. Nah, nah. You, guys and girls just being just friends doesn't really exist. It doesn't really exist.
Yeah, I completely agree on that, and I have a story about that too,
Okay.
where I met girls, like we're out and we end up hooking up, and I was like, yeah, we both know this is never gonna be a relationship, so we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be just friends with benefits,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like we both are 100% sure that okay, this is good sex and that's what it is, and then it stays as that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's perfectly fine
Yeah,
because that's the
then
kind of
it's
friend
mutual.
that most guys want.
Yeah, because the biggest difference there is then it's mutual. Like
Yeah.
that is in the best interest of both parties in that case.
Yeah.
But um, for like those cases where you're actually into the girl, yeah, never accept that. I think you would be a good friend, or let's just be friends. Never accept that premise.
Yeah. Yeah. The entire frame of it is ridiculous. And so you toss it out entirely. You say, oh no, sorry. I'm a pretty popular guy. I can only make room in my schedule for friends who suck my dick. ask Paul about it. It's kind of weird, you know, but like, and completely right. You can have fun with it. You can make jokes about it. You can turn it on its head. You can reject the fucking premise of reality if you'd like. You can do a lot of things with it, but the one thing you can't do is accept this we're just friends kind of thing. There's no point. It's just a total waste of time and energy. And instead of that, you just avoid the friend zone entirely by never letting yourself get in it in the first place. Now, I have a question for you, Paul, that I'm going to put out here. Just before I got on here for the stream tonight, one of my clients sent me a message and he said, there's this girl I know from before. I think maybe they were coworkers or something before. And he said, there's this girl who I know from before, and I want to send her a message on Instagram to shoot my shot. How can I do that while avoiding the friend zone? How can I make sure that I don't get thrown into the wrong bucket? What are your initial reactions to that? What advice would you give him?
Well, the first thing is, do you have any other point of contact than Instagram? That would be my absolute first thing. Like, if you have her number or if you have WhatsApp or any other communication platform, would be 100 times better than shooting it on Instagram.
Yeah.
If you don't, okay, then you have one chance, and that is you have to pray that she actually reads your message, because that is the first thing.
Yeah,
Because a lot
that's
of
your
time,
first huge hurdle.
yeah, I actually saw the statistics of this. If you send 50, but that is for random girls. For random girls, the amount that will actually read your message if you're just shooting it is going to be about 4 out of 50.
4
About
out of 50.
8%. Yeah.
Wow.
Where, yeah. So it's quite low.
Yeah.
So it's when you first shoot that message, it has to be very spot on. Like, the message has to have a very clear intent. Like, okay, this is okay. I want to take you out on a date. So maybe what I would do is I would find, like, if you used to work together and like you haven't talked in ages, I would find some weird ass news article and just go with a Ghostbuster tactic. And
Yeah.
like, hey, I've seen you've been busy, and then post a news article of some lady robbing banks 3 states over, right? It doesn't
Or
matter.
the cocaine bear.
Yeah, exactly, and just say something silly like, yeah, let me know if you need a getaway driver. I know the perfect place to hide out. Just just make something funny, something different from everyone else. Like, hi, what's up? How you been? All of this is just so stupid.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
you definitely
second,
don't open with some boring shit.
yeah. And the second she responds, you have to like keep the intrigue. So if you started out with like, say you take the article I put, like the bank robber thing. I have a crazy idea. I know this perfect coffee shop that's right across from X Bank, and let's go there, grab a coffee, and we can stake the place out. Because
Yeah.
then it becomes a fun thing.
Yeah.
And it's so much more likely that she says yes.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when you go there, the first thing you have to do is make it clear that, yeah, this is a date. Like, then you have to do like the physical escalations. You have to be on point. Like, you can't sit across each other like 5 meters apart and just talk about mundane stuff. You have to make it interesting. You have to keep your frame that this is a date and not just a friendly, let's get a coffee and catch up.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with all of that. I My first reaction is very similar to yours, which is, do you have any other way of contacting her? Because anything is better than Instagram. Then the second question would be, okay, if you're limited to just Instagram, does she follow you? And what does your Instagram profile look like? Does it have things? Does it have followers? Does it have people? Does it show you doing fun things? Or is it just a blank profile that, and just maybe some mediocre pictures or something like that. If you're going to be using Instagram as your platform for talking to this girl, you need to be using Instagram and you need to be doing it well. You definitely want your profile to be calibrated to what it is that you're trying to show, who you're trying to attract, what kind of life you're leading, because you're basically inviting her to ride the roller coaster, right? So the roller coaster has to look fun. You're inviting her into your life, not the other way around. You're not trying to get into her life. So you need to find a way to communicate that your life is fun and is worth going to join, right? If she follows you and if you have no other way of contacting her, and if your Instagram profile is good, and if she remembers you, you see how we're stacking ifs here, right? So the probability of this succeeding by messaging her on Instagram is getting lower and lower as we go through this. Then you send her a message. And yeah, like Paul said, don't make it boring. Make it something fun, make it interesting, make it entertaining. Not like, hey, long time no see, how have you been? Right? Because, first of all, boring. Why would she even answer that? Right? Why would she even bother? Because there's no reason. You're not giving her anything to work with there. But second, that's the kind of shit that a friend would do. So when you do something like that, when you send a message that's like, oh yeah, it's been so long, we should chat, we should catch up, that's some friendship. You're putting yourself into the friend zone, which most guys do. And this is why they end up in the friend zone, because they put themselves there without realizing it, of course. Like, it's not intentional. I get that. But this is still the outcome. This is still the result, is that you're putting yourself in the friend zone by doing shit that a friend does. So if you want to not be in the friend zone, don't do shit that a friend does, and do shit that guys who she's interested are doing. So sending a funny news article or sending a funny GIF of something. And my personal favorite is the wonderful dog GIF where there's a dog that comes over and it starts humping a second dog, but then while it's humping, it pukes, stops humping to eat its own puke back up. That always gets a response. That's why this GIF works so well, is because it gets a response 100% of the time, because nobody ever looks at that and says like, huh, okay, and then forgets about it. It demands a response, and it creates a physical response as well. It's, oh God, it's getting worse. How is it getting worse? And then you follow that up with, this is you, me, and a bottle of wine on Friday night. See you at 7 p.m. at whatever place, right? Like, this works well because it gets the reaction, because it's different, because it's not what she's expecting, because it's definitely not something that a friend would send, and it makes it very clear. It makes your intentions clear. I want to get together with you, have a bottle of wine, and then hump until we puke. Basically, like, all right, and then you shot. Maybe she's in, maybe she's out, but you stand a much better chance if you follow all of these things, if you stay interesting.
The biggest issue here is, since it's Instagram, unless she is actually following you, you won't even appear as a notification when you send a message. The same thing is if she has a content creator or like public, like content creator profile in Instagram, you don't get any notification for messages. So basically, like, I would almost say if she has more than 1,000 followers, your chance of actually having the message read gets very, very low.
Yeah. I mean, like, I have like 10,000 followers on Instagram, and even still, I can't get my messages through to somebody who has 600 or 800 followers, right? It just doesn't work that way. Instagram is very much designed to not let you message people who are not following you.
Yeah. So one trick you can do there is actually put your profile to private, because that
Okay.
creates a mystery. Why is your profile private? And then you
Right.
only have to deal with a really, really good profile picture. And of course, you have to accept her follow request when they follow you,
Mhm.
but it makes it a lot more controlled, and you can selectively choose who follows you and not.
Right, right, right. Yeah. Honestly, just it's just not the right platform. It's not the right tool for the job. I cannot recommend trying to get a girl out on a date through an Instagram message. It's possible, but it's much more difficult than literally any other platform or point of contact. Phone number is the best, and using whatever chatting application, using WhatsApp or using Kakao or Viber or whatever the hell it is you use, Telegram even, right? As long as you have her contact information and she's on some kind of chatting app, which she definitely is, then that's a much better way of reaching her and being able to set something up. If she can't see your message, then of course you're never gonna be able to succeed. So why try using the platform that almost guarantees she won't see your message, right? So yeah, that's basically our advice on this. Definitely try to use any other platform. Be interesting when you do message her. Don't be boring. Make it funny, make it silly, make it interesting, make it provocative, make it anything other than boring. One of the biggest mistakes that guys make that puts them into the friend zone is that they are polite. But everybody is polite, and polite is common. So polite is boring because it's what everybody else is doing too. Instead, you should be a little bit not totally over the line, right? You don't want to show us your tits, right? Like you're not trying to be that guy, but you should be able to push the line a little bit, push the boundaries. Like I said with the dog gif earlier, where you then follow it up with "This is you and me after a bottle of wine on Friday night." That there's nothing in that message that is offensive. There's nothing in that message that is reportable or anything like that. But it's still a little bit transgressive because of the implication that it carries. Using things like that sets you apart because this is not something that anybody else would do. This is not something that a friend would do. You should be more audacious because any problem created through audacity can be solved with more audacity, right? So you should always be pushing the line a bit, pushing it a bit, pushing it a bit, pushing it a bit, and don't shy away from things, right? You're not talking to your grandmother, you're talking to a girl who you want to sleep with. And if you're not even willing to admit that much, then you're not being honest with yourself, and you're definitely not going to come across as honest and congruent to her. So you need to start to understand yourself better. You need to figure out how to better present yourself, how to better show yourself, and how to not be a coward, because that's what politeness is, especially in this context. It's what this clean and safe messages and things like that. That's what all of this is. It's cowardice. You are afraid to tell her what you're actually thinking. You are afraid to say, "Hey, I really like that skirt. It makes your ass look great." You're afraid to say it because I mean, why? Because of weird ego shit going on in your head. And if you haven't learned yet to kill your ego, that's absolutely step one. But because of this ego stuff, and you're afraid that she's going to say, no thanks. Dude, accept that. You should go into it accepting that she's probably going to say no. That's fine. Once you've already accepted that, then you have no more fear. right? Because doing the stuff that you're doing now, which is being polite, being friendly, get stuck in the friend zone, it's not working for you. So flip the script, do something new, do something different, do something interesting, provocative, transgressive, all of that stuff. Simba, please stop. Now, sadly, we don't have the kid here to lead us through the topics. So, Paul, let's see, what should we go to next?
Well, I don't know. Since we're talking about being friend zoned,
Mm-hmm.
what can you like? Say you've already gotten semi stuck in the friend zone.
Mm-hmm.
What can you do to maybe get out of it, or at least change the girl's perspective on whether or not she's placed you correctly? Because there are definitely, like, even in my experience, I know a couple things you can do, which is actually very, very effective. Uh, to me, it was like the first thing you do is, of course, you don't speak to them whatsoever. You just completely ignore them for a month, 2, 3. That is the first thing you have to do.
Right.
You have to
Like you have to make a hard
desensitize.
reset. But
Yeah,
yeah, in a situation like that, see, Paul, this the reason that I'm kind of hesitating on this is because the guys who are going to ask this question are not guys who are willing to go 3 months without talking to this girl because they have one-itis, right? They're in love with this girl, and that's the issue. Is that they're and it might even be a situation where they can't possibly do that, where their coworkers or their classmates or something like that, they're going to see each other all the time anyway. They're going to have to talk to each other because of work or school or something like that. And honestly, apart from large transformations, physical transformations, financial, social, things like that, apart from those, you can't, you definitely can't inject lust into her. And if she has no lust for you, if she doesn't find you physically attractive in some way, then there's not really any saving that. Again, apart from major transformations. But let's say that I'm willing to and able to stop talking to this girl for 3 months. Continue on with your advice.
yeah. So, like as you say, like there has to be something that changes in that period. Like you don't have to be a different person, but you have to change something. Say that like you're not going to the gym. It's basically like the same as when a breakup happens. Like the first thing you do is you start focusing on yourself, right? So the way to do it in a friend zone scenario is treat it as a breakup.
Mm-hmm.
Just completely split. Like if she can message you, just leave her on red or even unread. Just pretend you blocked her or something, and then just completely disappear from her life. Because the thing is, if she is used to you being always being there and being
Mm-hmm.
available and talking to you about her feelings and all that shit, like start with just completely retracting, and then once you reappear, like, hey, I've been busy, I've been focusing on myself, had to do a lot of shit, blah blah blah. Doesn't matter. You don't even have to tell her. I've been busy.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you reappear in her life, like the second she tries to reintroduce the old ways, it's like, yeah, no. Uh, I'm sorry, but I am not your personal shrink.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you want to spend time with me, we're going on a date and we will see if it works. Yes or no. It's like you
Yeah.
have to leave it out. And if she says no, okay, then fine. Then she's out. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing to do about that. But it's the only way to really get the chance to actually see if you ever stood a chance, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly it. Like you may have been in the maybe bucket from the beginning, but then you through
Yeah, you
inaction or through shitty game or whatever else, you've got yourself put into the nope category, you can move back, but it does take quite a bit more work. And if I'm being entirely honest, it's not gonna be worth it. It's just not. You know, like you if you're friend zoned with a girl, then my honest advice, what I would actually do and what I would advise anyone in this situation to do is shoot your shot once. Make it clear, make it obvious, make your intent known that you want to go on a date with her, that you want this to be you're not happy with being just friends, and that if she's not cool with that, that's fine, but that's also the end. Just shoot your shot, and then if she says no, move on. Cut her. Cut her. Just cut her loose. There's no point in sitting around and pining after some girl who has no interest in you at all, right? If she's interested in keeping you as a friend, then she's not that interested in you. If we're being real.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
There is one thing I wanted to touch upon from what you said earlier, like about like the line between polite and offensive.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I noticed dramatically increased my game and my success rate, especially through texting, is when I managed to find the point of balance for me, which is literally walking on the line. It's not
Mm-hmm.
about being too polite or sometimes too offensive. It's like everything becomes like, okay, is this actually too offensive, or is this just enough on the right side? For example, like I would say, like say I hooked up with someone and I would like to see them again. I literally have text chains where the first message between me and a girl is, how about we make it a 2-night stand? Like just go straight for it. And it's like, yeah, no one has ever just straight up asked her like, hey, if you're free tonight, let's make it a 2-night stand. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just balancing that. Okay, it's not offensive, but it's so direct and intentional that it becomes like, okay, should I be offended or should I be flattered? That is kind of where you want to balance it.
Yeah.
And if you can
Yeah.
balance it at that point, you are golden in 95% of cases, at least. Someone will always
Exactly.
find you offensive.
Yeah. Well, and everybody gets offended by different things, and people are scared of offending other people, which I get, right? Like nobody wants to be the cause of somebody else's distress or unhappiness. Like I understand that. I understand that. But also you can't spend your life playing safe about worrying about other people's feelings or reactions to things or something like that. You you're going to offend somebody. You're going to offend somebody. You're going to upset somebody. So you just accept that and then find the people who vibe with your sense of humor, with your style, with the way that you present yourself. And if she doesn't, that's fine. That's fine. There are lots of people in the world who really do not like me. I'm very cool with that. I'm comfortable with that. Doesn't matter. There are also lots of people who do. Cool. Those are the people I find. Those are the people I filter for. Those are the people I keep around. And the ones who don't like me, like, okay, cool. Have a good night. That's it. Doesn't matter. A girl might like my style. She might not. She might think that I'm rude, crude, and socially unacceptable. And here's the thing: she'd be correct, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. So just accept that thing. Don't worry about being polite. Play with it. Find where your sense of humor matches with where it has some overlap with societal standards and norms, because you don't want to come across as uncalibrated, as socially unaware. That's not what you want. So you will have to adjust for that, of course, and say certain things that still fit in within the bounds of normal social discourse, but also pushes the line a bit more and is funny, is clever, is interesting, is something like that. Um, Anything else on that topic? Because I've got one more before we get out.
Then you can keep on going.
Okay, cool. So in I think a week or two, maybe 2 weeks, one of our guys is getting to Korea. Now he's been here before, but it's been a long time, and this is going to be his first time living in Seoul. What recommendations would we give him? I'll let you go first. Obviously, I know the city, right? So I'll let you go first. And what recommendations would you give him as a guy who's just landing here? As far as dating, as far as relationships, as far as the best places to go, the best things to do, people to know, anything.
Well, the first thing I would say is if you get to choose where you're living, is choose a place that has the best logistics you can get. That is the absolute most important thing, especially in a city like Seoul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can usually do taxis 20 minutes, even 30 minutes works fine every now and then. But if your place is 5 minutes, 10 minutes walk from wherever the party's at, it's always the best. Of course, the second thing would be, yeah, get to know like the first week or two. Don't really, don't really care about it. Just go out and get to know the bars, get to know the places and the people that works there. And once you're starting to get on their friendly sides, yeah, of course, every single time you go out, you're gonna try to hook up with someone anyway. But the point is to get to know the staff, the locations, which places have good girls at 8 p.m., which places to go at 11 p.m. Where do you go when you're trashed at 5 p.m. and just want to take someone home, right?
Trashed at 5 p.m. Now you're speaking my language, Paul.
Yeah, but like the point is like every now and then you're gonna have shitty days. And if you learn where you can go for all hours of the day to find people, it dramatically increases your chances.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just have as much fun with it as you can. Like just
Mm-hmm.
try to make everything an adventure.
Yeah.
Do crazy stuff. Meet new people. Like me and you did. Like we went on the pub crawl, right?
Yeah.
Just we know we knew absolutely all the bars we went to, but it's just now you're there with 20, 30 other people. It's just now it's a
Yeah.
party, right?
It was. And here's the thing is that most of the people there sucked, but
Yeah.
some of them were pretty cool. We made friends with those two girls at first, and then we brought that black girl back over to Corner Pub afterwards. And I actually still have that video. I need to cut that one up and edit it and upload it. It doesn't require a lot of edits. It was actually a remarkably clean video, and uh,
Considering we were shooting it at like 1 a.m., it's pretty good, yeah.
yeah, and also we are still intelligible. We might not be intelligent, but at least you can understand what we're saying, and we're not slurring our words too badly or anything. Uh, I looked back through it a couple of weeks ago, and it's pretty solid. But yeah, like going out to places like that, going out to events, specifically social functions, social focus functions, language exchanges, of course, also a very good option for meeting people and making friends. One of the other things that I would recommend is no matter where you are, where you're living, you should get to know your area well. Because if you can find like trendy looking cafes or interesting concept bars or places with like if you can find an LP bar, or if you can find a place that has a really good selection of whiskeys, or if you can find a nice lounge bar or anything like that. Uh, Finding those places and knowing about them will help you a ton, because it'll help you to not just have ideas for places to go, but also you can use it as an attraction to get them to come over. Be like, oh, you have got to come to this bar. They have, by the way, you like whiskey, right? Okay, good. Because they have the best whiskey in the world. I've never even seen it at another bar in Korea. It's really rare here, but they have, whatever it is, a Lagavulin 18 year or something, right? Okay, cool, neat. It's also like $20 a glass, but it's worth it, right? So you get to know the places around you, and like Manga didn't know the places around him for quite a while, and then a fly jumped into my water. Okay. So Manga didn't know the places around him for quite a while. And after enough insistence and us telling him, no, you need to learn the stuff around you. You need to learn. You need to find the places. He did. And it took him like an evening. And then he ended up being able to use all those places for his future dates. Like, it's absolutely worth it to find the stuff in your area, find the cool places. When I was single and living out in the middle of nowhere, I found the cool bars, I found the cool parks, I found anything interesting. There was a really nice brunch cafe or something like that, and so you can use that as a thing to get people to come out. And Stallion was living there at the time too, and I've told this before, but he actually made a little brochure about the cool stuff in the town that he would then send to girls whenever he would match with them, and he'd be like, "Oh, this is the coolest place in all of Korea. It's even better than Seoul. It's got all these cool attractions and stuff. And the best part is, it's a secret. Nobody knows about this place. It's so cool, and it's only 5 stops from Hongdae. It's really easy to get there." And like, yeah, yeah, it's not really that cool, but it works. You know the places, you know the
You gotta
people.
settle Chongna somehow, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you can't be doing like $50 taxis every night, right? So yeah, you get to know the places, get to know the area, get to know the people there as well. Because if you know the bartenders and you know the waitresses or whatever else, they will absolutely go to bat for you. They'll help you out. They'll wingman for you. But if you don't make an effort, if you don't get to know them, if you don't talk to them, they will blow your shit out of the water. They will absolutely. The second you get up to go to the bathroom, they'll be like, "This guy just has a different girl in here every night," and they'll completely explode your night. So get to know them, make friends. Buy them drinks sometimes. Oh, hey, I'm gonna get something. Do you want one? You want one here? Let me buy you a drink. Okay, cool. Something like that. So small. It's like a $5 investment to have somebody who's gonna have your back and help you out whenever you're bringing girls around. Um, it's not hard. Now, as far as places to go, of course, my favorite is Hongdae. And then there's also Itaewon, and then the Gangnam area, right? The Apgujeong, especially. Gangnam Station itself is pretty shit. There's not really much good around there, but Apgujeong has some good spots. Um, Jamsil Sene, which used to be Shincheon, down next to Jamsil, that has some really good spots as well. And the reason is because it's next to a university. So wherever you're situated in Seoul, find the nearest spots that have universities, because they will have a lot of cool stuff around there. Um, if there's a shopping center nearby, which there actually is where he's moving, there's a massive mall there. Like, that's a great place to practice your day game. Find places that work for that. Any places with heavy foot traffic, with people just kind of sauntering around. They're not in a hurry. They're not on their way to work or anything like that. figuring out where your nearest movie theaters are, figuring out where the singing rooms are, where the batting cages are, or whatever it is that you want to use for your dates. Figuring out all that stuff, and it isn't hard. It sounds like a lot, but actually, all you really have to do to learn all this stuff is just take a walk. Literally, just walk around your neighborhood, check
Yeah,
all around the station.
that was one of the last things I was gonna mention is that take a day or two and just walk around your area
Yeah,
and in your head plan out dates.
yeah,
Plan your date routines. Like, okay, we're gonna start here, and then we're gonna go there, and then we're gonna. If it's very successful, we're going straight home. If not, we're gonna go to this place, which is right next to mine, and then we're gonna go home, right? So just
right.
plan it out and like, and then even if you're like, okay, if you're curious to whether this is actually gonna be working, then call one of your guys out and say, hey, let's have a drink in my area, and maybe you can double check my date routine, right? Like just do a walkthrough of it. Like, yeah, we go here first, we do this, and then this is kind of the emotions or the feelings that I'm playing off on, and this is the adventure I want to create, right?
Mhm.
And then just okay, yeah, this works, and then you get tips and tricks, and like you kind of get verified that okay, this is probably gonna work. Like for me, one of the hardest things with when I started out was that it was really hard to create these successful dates that would be successful every time.
Mhm.
After a while and after doing it for a while, like, yeah, now I know, like, if I go this route, or if I choose, I just need to choose this type of place, and it's going to be most likely success every time. But
Yeah,
you need a couple different options because you need to tailor it to the girls you're taking out to, right? Like if you're taking out an alcoholic, of course you're going for a bar. If you're taking out a worker bee, on the other hand, you need something different.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Like you
like,
need to
and
spice
the
it up.
difference between a dive bar for the alcoholic or a lounge bar for the worker bee, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Or like, yeah, I know the coolest rooftop bar in Seoul. Or
there you go. Or this place makes great cocktails because she's the kind of girl who barely drinks at all, and when she does, it needs to be something fruity and sweet. Like, okay, cool.
yeah,
Know how to
or
deal with it.
or like if you match with someone that is like, okay, she's a surfer, or she likes going to the beach. It's like, yeah, I know the perfect place. Bring your bikini and let's go to the beach. By the way, it's in the sixth floor on a rooftop and it's a bar.
There you go. Exactly. Figuring that stuff out is very helpful. And as much as I despise Facebook as both a product and a company, it's really good for finding events and groups of people. And so even just popping onto a Facebook group that's like foreigners in no one group, right? Or wherever it is that you're setting up shop. You go on there and you just say, hey guys, I'm new to the area. Where are the cool places, or what are the events that are happening? Is there any like regular meetup or something like that? Or are there any cool things around here? And people will be helpful. People like to be helpful. They'll tell you some things. They'll point you in the right direction. And honestly, the number one thing that you should absolutely do if you are coming to Korea is being part of our Discord server, because I don't know that there's actually a better resource for finding the cool places to go, for finding cool guys to hang out with, for learning the different parts of the city. For any given night, there's somebody out, somebody's doing something, and yeah, the Discord community is great. Now, the signups for that are closed currently. So if you're interested in joining the Discord and you're not in there yet, you're going to have to send me a private message, and I'll see what I can do about either getting you an invite or directing you down the path if the kid has that up and ready, which I'm not sure if he does yet. So
Yeah.
I think that at this point, sorry, Paul, did you have something else?
Yeah, I was about to mention the Discord too. So in the Discord we've had um like people like looking for tips and tricks, right? And I've actually personally both given out maps in the Discord, which shows like at least say my top 50 date bars in
Mhm.
Seoul. I've also helped tailor dates for other guys for like, okay, this type of girl, okay, go to these places in this order, do this, and then yeah, it works out. It's been very successful, I think.
Yeah,
And just being a part of the community, it gives you so much help whenever you have any questions or you're wondering what's the next step or you just want to shoot the shit about a topic. We're always here
yeah.
to discuss everything.
Or you just want to send some stupid memes. Win your fake internet points. Absolutely. Yeah. Speaking of fake internet points, I still don't know what the weird level up thing. I don't know what that system is or how it works or if it does anything or if it just like goes forever or what the thing is with that. But it's kind of fun. Just like whenever somebody levels up from talking too much. Okay, good job, man. Yeah, so I think that that's probably where we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. So, Paul, thanks for joining. I'm glad that you were able to make some time. So it's a pleasure as always. And for the rest of you guys who have joined us on the stream watching, thank you as well. Always lovely to see you guys, lovely to talk to you. And hopefully by next week, I will have, you know, things actually set up and working instead of this just like me sitting in a chair in a dark corner thing. By the way, what do you think of the neon sign, Paul?
I love it. Currently, I can only see about half of it though.
Yeah, let's get that guy up there. Yeah,
Yeah, it
he's
looks
not.
pretty good.
Yeah, he's not going to be permanently living on the hat rack. That's just temporary while we get set up. So next week it will be looking better. And by the way, side question: how's the video quality today?
It's quite good. I think Restream does a little bit to whack down the quality.
Yeah,
And sometimes there is a light flimmer.
yeah. This weird light thing. Like I see it
Yeah,
now, and I don't know what it is. It's not the
yeah, I have
water,
no
and
idea
like
what it
this
is.
light is static, so I'm not sure what it is. But
We'll figure
whatever.
it out.
Yeah, technical issues that we need to work through. However, thank you guys for joining us, and I will talk to you next time. So until next week, boys, Papa Jack out.